Hey everyone, my name's Chris, and on this channel we talk Kanye West. And today we're talking about this tweet right here, Yeezy Sound roster proposal that Kanye put up 2 days ago with this piece of paper that has Yeezy Sound and then a list of names of artists that are the proposal for the roster. But I wanted to go over in this video first, what is Yeezy Sound? Because there's still some confusion about that, as well as then looking at each of these individual artists and giving you some context in case you don't know specific things about them. So first, Yeezy Sound. The first mention of it came back in 2017. Kanye filed a trademark for the company, and it said that the trademark would include the rights to streaming of music, audio, images, video, and other multimedia content over the internet. And that grounded in everybody's head that Yeezy Sound was going to be a streaming service, but people weren't sure on what kind of scale, right? Is this going to be Kanye's break from Tidal, and he is going to be trying to compete with Spotify and Apple Music and all the other streaming platforms? That would be a strange endeavor indeed. And you can even see here that Billboard talks at the start of this article in response to the tweet from the other day. Kanye West could be one step closer to launching his own music streaming service. So it's 3 years later, and people are still contextualizing it as the potential of a streaming service, even though Kanye said that it's a roster proposal, which I still would be strange, right? When you're saying roster proposal, it almost feels more like a label than it does a streaming platform. Why would you need a specific roster for a streaming platform? And Kanye had even said in 2018, and this might be the only other time he's mentioned Yeezy Sound on Twitter, just all music coming out of the Yeezy Sound has to ride like the new Tesla. Yeezy Sound is Tesla radio, which doesn't really point us in much of a direction, right, about what it is, because the sound has to ride like Tesla. Does that just mean that the quality has to be good, right? You just have to have this like higher edge quality, and that's going to be the differentiation for Yeezy Sound, much in the way that hi-fi is for Tidal? Or is it saying that the artists that are working for Yeezy Sound, the label, are going to be making music that rides like the new Tesla? And this is kind of a classic Kanye comparison, right? He always takes what he's working on and puts it in context of another brand or a concept that he really loves and is inspired by. So he's doing it here with Tesla and just trying to get that feeling of what the Tesla feels like, the excitement of it, the cutting edgeness of it. He just did something similar in the Forbes interview when talking about Wakanda as his model for governments and thinking about how we can make America similar to Wakanda and the advancements in Wakanda's civilization and just capturing that energy and spirit. And then you have here, this is from 6 months ago, a post on Ariane Lakes. That's a Consequence Instagram post. And you can see that he says 192 Records / Yeezy Sound is the wave for 2020, which 192 Records sounds like a label. And that having the hyphen with Yeezy Sound also makes Yeezy Sound sound like a label, which just raises a ton of questions about, is this something separate to good music? What is this? Is it a streaming platform just for a label? You even have, what is it? Najee3 down here saying that, see, this was my understanding. Malik Youssef, who had been a longtime collaborator of Kanye's, though it seemed like there may have been a split. If you may remember, there was some drama of Malik apparently using Kanye's signature on things and using Kanye's name for some things that Kanye wasn't involved with. And since that time, I haven't really heard of them working together in the same capacity. But he had talked about Yeezy Sound being essentially where Kanye's unreleased music goes. And this is what Najee is saying too. Whether it's scrapped albums, unreleased songs, demos, all the songs that don't make Kanye album goes to Yeezy Sound, and it's available to other artists to buy. And that made a lot of sense to me at the time. I think it was 2018, 2019 when Malik said this. And it was just this idea that, okay, the beat, did it get used? These drums, did it get used? The synths, did it get used? Let's sell this off to other artists. So instead of just making the full production for them, they can just buy these aspects of a song, which I think is a great service and kind of like game changing, groundbreaking. Though maybe somebody in the music industry would be like, other people do that. To me, it just first time I ever heard of it and seemed like such a great idea. And you can even see Najee3 said here, Malik Yusuf tweeted about this, and it makes a lot of sense since songs like Piss on Your Grave, That Part, All Your Fault, Figure It Out sound like Kanye songs, and Kanye is a main part of those songs. Yeah, I think Piss on Your Grave and All Your Fault, he actually just gave to Big Sean and Travis Scott rather than them buying up those things. Piss on Your Grave, I know, was supposed to be on So Help Me God, and I think All Your Fault was as well initially. But I think those other songs, yeah, there were aspects of the production that Kanye just kind of gave or sold to these other artists rather than actually producing for them. So that's kind of the weird history of Yeezy Sound and where we're kind of at now. I wish I had a more definitive answer of, is it a label? Is it something else entirely? Is it going to be a streaming service? Is it just where the songs have gone and been sent out to? Very confused by that. And if it is a label, how does it differ from Good Music? Especially like Clips is Pusha T and his brother No Malice, right? And Pusha T's the president of Good Music. So it would just be strange that you would have talent drifting from one to the other, which makes me think the label thing might not be the case, but I don't know what streaming service this would be that just kind of has 6 artists on it or 7 artists on it. That's also strange to me. So it's going to be an interesting maneuver to see where Kanye goes with this and what it is. But let's get into some of these artists. So Abstract Mind State is the first one. And you can see that Abstract Mind State is a duo from way back in the day. It says they were most active from 1999 to 2005. It's made up of Ice Gray and Ebony Poetess the Hellcat, which is an amazing name. And they've had one main project, We Paid, Let Us In. That was their album that came out in 2001. And then they had a couple mixtapes from 2005, which included Welcome to Chicago featuring Kanye West, which this was a 2004 CD single, which is kind of crazy. So you can find this song. I'll link it down below in the description, but it's just kind of cool to hear this old school Kanye. And but you can see that there's a Chicago connection between Kanye and Abstract Mind State. So we have that going on. Let me get rid of some of these tabs. Boom, boom, boom. Okay. And then we have Sci-Hi the Prince. He's been working with Kanye since My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy. And he has that famous story of he wasn't initially supposed to be on So Appalled. And he was in the studio and just kind of put his verse into the song. And then when Kanye was playing it for people, he heard Sci-Hi come in and was just like, okay, yeah, you made the album. So Sci-Hi's been working with Kanye ever since, and he's credited a lot as being like a big person behind the scenes when it comes to just writing lyrics, providing concepts, just a mover and a shaker that doesn't necessarily get the credit on the public side of things that he would seem like he deserves. He has one album that came out, and people have been anticipating the next one for years. I think it was 2014 or 2015 that album came out. So everybody's pretty excited about new Sci-Hi music. And we even had, it seems I got rid of the tab. Well, back in 2018, Sci-Hi had a Twitter conversation where somebody had mentioned that Sci-Hi had said his album was next up, et cetera, and Sci-Hi responded that they had actually spent 2 years working on Push's album, Kids See Ghosts, Keep That Same Energy, and Yay, and that his album deserved this same amount of time, right? That they weren't going to rush it just to like get another album out, that he deserved to have that same care and that Kanye was producing it. So that was 2018. He had talked about like that 2-year window, and here we are in 2020, and you get Sci-Hi's list or name on this list. So does this align with new music that's coming out? Also, you have that Consequence post saying that Yeezy Sound was going to be the vibe of 2020, which seems to tie to new music coming out. And then you have Ye, of course, good old Kanye. And then Tony Williams, the world famous Tony Williams. World famous. Tony is Kanye's cousin. You may have first heard him way back on, what was it, Spaceship. He's doing a lot of the vocals on Spaceship and all over the College Dropout, especially Last Call. He was present on Late Registration and has had a part to play either writing or singing on a ton of Kanye albums, as well as Blueprint 3 and Nas's Nasir album. So Tony's been in the picture since Kanye's like childhood, right? Being the cousins that they are. On Gone, when Kanye talks about going to his aunt's in Oklahoma, that's Tony Williams' mom that he's talking about going to, which it's cool. I've actually had the opportunity to interview Tony for Forbes and got to write this piece, which is like this really long piece, but he had a ton of fascinating things to say. And he also came on the podcast. So if you want to hear me talk to Tony Williams for an hour, that's separate content from the interview on Forbes, you can find that on our YouTube channel, but also just on our Spotify or Apple feed. So yeah, Tony has released one album, King or the Fool, way back in the day. It's been a number of years now. A concept album, of course, as it seems that anybody in Kanye's window, concept albums are the thing to do. But it has some great tracks on it. And it's been a while that the second album has been cooking and in the works. Actually, I got to hear music for it for the interview last year, and I know that it was slated to come out sometime soon. So that's another person on this list that we know has been working on a project and has music ready to drop. So we could be seeing that second Tony Williams album, same way that we're anticipating this next Sci-Hi the Prince album. And then we have Clips, which is made up of Pusha T and No Malice. They were the duo back in the day, dropping all these albums where they finally split and went separate ways. And it's been a long time since they have been reunited as artists on one song. You know, Pusha T's gone off and done his thing. No Malice was reborn into his faith and has been exploring some religious music and just his own lane as well. They recently reunited for Use This Gospel on Jesus is King, which was a huge deal for everybody that just had a long time love for Clips and had been wanting to see them reunited. To get their verses then on that song really was poignant. And you can hear our episode on Use This Gospel and us getting into the power of using these two artists and explaining their verses if you want to, again, on YouTube or on our podcast feed. And then you have Casey, which Casey here refers to Casey Pluto. And you can see he's had some posts recently, like, let's get it, big bro, with the heart, referring to this. When Kanye first posted this photo, people were kind of at a loss for who Casey referred to. Was it Kid Cudi? Was it somebody named Casey, like Casey and JoJo? But then Casey here emerged. And you can see kind of a picture here, him with kind of a Aunt Clemens hat and the little Yeezy slides. And you can see Complex had this article from February. Consequence recruits Aunt Clemens, Bongo, by the way, and Casey Pluto for new song Thanks Ye. So Casey Pluto had kind of been in the orbit of Kanye. Consequence has been working heavily with Kanye for this last year. And then bringing in Aunt Clemens, who we know has worked with Kanye since Ye in 2018, then again on Jesus is King. Both he and Tony Williams have been a fixture at Sunday service. So Casey Pluto kind of being brought into that group. And you have here a month ago on our Yandi Leaks, Casey Pluto left Wyoming, indicating that he wrapped up his work on Jesus is King 2, which could be Jesus is King 2, God's Country, something else entirely. But via his IG story, wrote, Know that God is in control today. Be still and don't worry, over a video of the Wyoming countryside, then posted a picture of his legs at the Dallas-Fort Worth International Airport. Uh, and this is another post. Is this Kanye and Casey Pluto story from today, or is this a stretch? And you can kind of see the similar outfits, right? So we have that. And then here's just like a little background information on Casey. From Minnesota. It says that he was born in Kenya and a big Michael Jackson fan early on. I actually got to interview Aunt Clemens too. And Aunt Clemens was talking about how huge, I think for a lot of artists, right, and just people in general, of an influence Michael Jackson was for him. It's just kind of cool to see all these people like Michael Jackson influence working with Kanye, Kanye loving Michael Jackson. It seems to be the golden ticket. So if you want to work with Kanye, hopefully you have a love of Michael Jackson. But you can see his stage name is now Casey Pluto, and this article is from 2016, and it talks about how Casey's just getting ready to graduate from high school, but was also getting to go down and perform at South by Southwest, and was inking his first deal with ATM Alive Productions. So he's been living in Minnesota for a little bit. The last few years, probably out and about doing his thing, and now it seems like he's going to be part of whatever this Yeezy Sound adventure is going to be. But it kind of does it for all the information I have on this at this time. Of course, as more things come out, we'll be back to discuss and inform and etc., etc. Now, I may have missed something important about one of these artists. Oh, North. Missing something important. Northwest. Northwest is Kanye's daughter. She was born in 2013, so she's 7 years old. And it seems like she would be on Yeezy Sound. We saw that she released her first song when Kanye was in Paris. She kind of did an on-stage performance, and she also featured a little bit during some of the Sunday services, and got to scream at the end of the Follow God video, or Closed on Sunday video, one of them. But North has been gaining more of a profile in Kanye's work, so it'd be interesting to see if she actually had something that she was working on, or if this is just kind of some name inclusion for fun, or just fun for her to see. But yeah, kids content, is that what Yeezy Sound is going to be bringing to the table? Who knows? We'll be back to update, though, as the information becomes available and this kind of takes more focus. Who knows if that's going to be soon? I mean, according to Consequences Post, 2020 is the year for it, but could be another year, 2 years. We don't know yet, but we'll talk about it. Until then, stay wavy, keep it loopy. Oh, and if you want to support the channel, the easiest way is liking, commenting, subscribing. All three of those actions tell YouTube that this is content that people are enjoying, and it shows it to more people. Then we also have our podcast on Apple Music, Spotify, wherever you listen to podcasts, as well as a Patreon page where we have 100 episodes, over 100 episodes of line-by-line lyrical analysis, which is kind of the thing that we're known for, of every Kanye album and song on those albums. So you can find that for $5 a month, patreon.com/Kanye podcast. And that does it. Until next time, my name's Chris, and stay wavy, keep it loopy. Cheers.